Hey, Jackie.
Hi, Eric. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
How many episodes have we started where we weren't laughing?
None. Zero.
Oh my gosh, that's impressive, actually. That says a lot about, that really just truly just enforces the fact that we're having a good time without even me realizing it.
I think so. I mean, it would be upsetting if we started crying. So,
Dude, but we should. April Fool's next year. Oh, no, I'm giving it away. Dang it. But it would be funny to just be like tissues and just bawling, and they'd be like, what is this? And then
you know what? Okay, so speaking of crying, something just popped into my mind, and I probably should have asked you about this earlier. But I would like a minute to just talk about what was going on with me and my family this last 2 weeks.
Oh, yes.
Just I don't want to bring things down like super quick, super bad. But
no, but everybody has things that happen to them. So.
Yeah, but there's a very specific reason why I want to talk about this. So
I want to hear.
my grandmother Hazel Jones. So she's my dad's mother. She was 94 and she died about 2 weeks ago. And so I've been dealing with a pretty devastating loss. Hopefully I can get through this without bawling my head off. But that's why crying came to mind, because I don't think I've ever spent so much time in my life crying. I mean, just like to the point where you're just, I don't know. Have you ever been where you're tired of crying? I mean, it's just not a good place to be. The reason I bring it up, and normally I wouldn't talk about something quite as personal on the podcast, is because I really wanted to say something at her memorial service, but I'm such an emotional person. It's like, there's just no way I could have said anything without just being a blubbery mess. And nobody really needs to see that, And so, but one of the things I just wanted to talk about my grandma for a minute, because, she was a very influential on me, my whole life growing up. We grew up really close to them, like in proximity. So I spent a lot of time in her house after school. But I learned so much from her, and see, now I can't talk about it.
It's okay. What kind of stuff did you learn from her, though? With a name like Hazel, though, can we talk about how great of a name? With a name like Hazel, she's got some stuff to show you, though.
So I learned how to garden. I learned how to...
Oh, to garden.
I learned how to can
preserves?
Yeah. Canned vegetables.
I had a grandma that did that, too.
I mean, she made the most amazing sweet pickles and dill pickles. I learned, I think, and the reason why I want to talk about her a little bit is because she's like an OG maker. Okay. She was like the maker in our family. And I think a lot of,
what kind of stuff did she make?
You're keeping me on track here. So
I'm sure I know. You have no idea how similar we are. And you do know. My grandmother's everything to me.
I actually thought I could get through this without tears. So
that's okay. We saw you talk about Wonder Woman. We know your feelings kind of dude.
Yeah.
We love it. Everybody has a grandma or somebody that means this much to them, though. And if you don't, I hope that you do find that person. But I want to hear what you learned from your OG maker grandma.
So I have four. I have an older sister, 2 years older than me, and we have two female cousins, 2 years each, 2 years apart. So we're 2 years, right?
Oh,
and we all hung out at my grandma's house all the time. They were really into Barbies because this was in the 70s, 80s, early 80s. My grandma literally made like a whole city for Barbie, and I'm talking everything: furniture, houses, clothing, like 50, 60 different tiny little intricate outfits for the Barbies.
That's so cool. Do they have any still, I wonder?
Yeah, my cousin Melissa still has like most of it all still boxed up somewhere. She made, get this. I have another cousin that he lives in Alaska because his dad is my uncle, and his parents got divorced when he was really young. And so he would come every once in a while during the summer and spend like a week, and we'd hang out together at my grandma's house. And he was a couple years younger than me, but we were all really into like Chuck Norris and things like that from the 80s.
Yeah, of course you were. Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and stuff. I mean, so one summer I vividly remember my grandparents had gotten new carpet in their cabin, right? And carpet comes on big cardboard rolls, like tubes. Yeah. She made a bazooka out of that tube. So we would have something to play with.
Dude, whose grandma ever has thought of making a bazooka? I was going to say my grandmother also made Barbie stuff for me, but a bazooka, she never would have gone that way.
She even took, I vividly remember it because I just remember thinking that was so amazing. She took like a paper towel roll and put cellophane on the ends of it and then drew like crosshairs on it and taped it to the side of it and put handles on it. We ran around all summer, you know, playing army or whatever with this cardboard homemade bazooka. So what I'm getting at is Grandma's OG prop maker.
Yeah, she was. It sounds like she was.
She also made.
Where did she learn? Was she creative? Like in her life, did she have a job when she was younger? Was she a home wife?
You know what? She's the wife of a minister. My granddad is up to about 4 years ago when he turned 90. Right around then, he finally stopped being a minister.
Wow.
And she is just like the most unprejudicial, loving woman I've ever met in my life. So
that's wonderful.
Yep. And she also made every birthday cake I ever had until I was 18. So, and I'm talking like real handmade. I found photos. I'll post them online. She made me a Chewbacca cake. She made me an R2-D2 cake.
What?
Yeah. Like way back in the day when people weren't making that kind of stuff.
Man, I would have loved, I wish I would have met your grandmother. That sounds, what a cool woman. Like, I mean, and especially in that time period, like, getting creative is hard enough as it is now with the internet and resources. Yeah. Your grandma was just like, she was Pinterest in her head.
Dude, she's a Renaissance woman. I'm telling you. One of her favorite things to do was to go fishing. She loved to fish, and she was an amazing fisherman. My granddad he's only a part-time minister, so he didn't like have a full income from church. So he was a carpenter at the same time. And
that's cool.
One year she just decided she wanted to work with him more. So she learned how to do drywall. So she would go with him. They would do remodels together. She would do all the mudding for the drywall. She was one of the best drywallers in the county.
I believe it though.
And that's at like 60 years old too. It's not like, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Dude, that's impressive.
I wanted to say all those things at her service, but I never would have gotten through it. But I just had to shout out to my grandma because she's an amazing lady and I'm really going to miss her. So we can talk about something else besides death now.
I'll miss her for you. It makes me sad. Gosh. I get it. I get it, Eric. I really do.
Yeah.
I definitely do. There's people that are just not like anybody else in this world. And when you have, you know, they're special.
I just thought of something else. When she was about 40, I think, she decided she wanted, because she was always like really, really artistic. She took up oil painting. And so she oil painted for like 25 years. But, you know, some people take up oil painting.
For just 25 years.
You know, some people just like take up oil painting and it's like, yeah, okay. You just, you kind of, her paintings were really good. Like really, really, really good. Work? What's that? Yeah,
I do. Have any?
I do. I have one. I have one
of one of her pieces.
I have one of her pieces, and it's really unique because do you know what we call them conchs? I don't know if there's actually another name for them. Well, no, it's like a conch, which is like a big fungus that grows on trees out in the forest. Have you ever seen that?
Oh.
So I have one that she painted on. It's on a conch. Which is a big dried mushroom, basically. I guess.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
So, and also until the day she died, she made birthday cards, like handmade birthday cards for every single person in my family. Like that's everybody. We even found out at the service, because we were talking, about different things with family members and stuff. We even found out she was still making cards and sending them to like one of my cousin's ex-wives that they hadn't been married for like 18 years. And she was still sending her a handmade card every year. She's just that kind of person.
Dude. Honestly, I think like if you knew my grandmother, you would be like, "What?" Like they sound so much like my Nana has the woman that was hired to be like the hand, like the not a maid, but like she was like almost an assistant of its time to my great grandmother. She's a black lady that's from town. Her whole family's always been, her whole family's continued to go on here. My grandmother still every year goes and gives her like great grandchildren a gift, like gifts and things, and she still goes and like helps them out. It's like. Because back in the day when someone was a part of your family, those generations are different. Like the people that were a part of their family were always a part of their family forever.
Yep. Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
Beautiful.
So we all decided that, I think everybody brought like one of their favorite cards from her to the service, but if everybody brought every card she'd ever made, there would have been like 3,000 cards there. It would have been amazing. So she's just,
I love that.
Yeah. Anyway, There
And
we
just
go.
to say, the assistant I said assistant because it wasn't a slave. Don't go thinking that. It was a paid position, you crazies. Just because I'm from the South doesn't mean my family had slaves. They were poor white folk, y'all. They were poor people.
So shout out to all the wonderful grandmas out there.
What'd you call her? Did you call her Nana?
No, she's just grandma.
She was grandma. Okay.
She's just grandma.
I like that, but she was a special grandma.
Yeah, she really was. So
that's cool. And there was 4 of you guys. So did you? Did she cook? Was she a good cook?
Oh, yeah. I could spend a whole podcast talking about her. So, yeah, she cooked. So my wife several years ago made a joke about Grandma Hazel's magic refrigerator. You know,
Why?
Well, because we would go to their house they lived, and I say house, but it's actually like a ramshackle cabin that they literally live in the middle of nowhere in the woods. And she'd be like, "Oh, you guys staying for dinner or whatever?" "Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, we'll stay for dinner." She'd go, "Okay, I'll throw something together."
Oh yeah.
I mean, every meal, and she'd do it in like a half an hour. It'd be just like, it'd be just
that's true. The magic refrigerator. We never knew but like it was always that Gammy would do that for us, and it was just magic. Like, how do you have like this delicious soup or like homemade biscuits?
Exactly.
Ready?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Literally there'd be like almost like a Thanksgiving feast at every meal, and my family loves to eat. So, and okay, probably the best, most amazing thing. She made pies like nobody's business.
Oh. I really wish I knew Grandma Hazel, because we know that pies are superior in every way. To cupcakes, cake,
and
whatever. Cookies?
And I think I've talked about my grandma's coconut cream pie before. I think I've mentioned it before, but that was amazing. And I've spent my whole adult life trying to find something even close to it. And I even have the recipe. I've made it myself a couple times, and it just doesn't have that special grandma's love.
It's so true. It's funny that you say that, because as I got older, my family one year gifted me for Christmas my Gammy's cookie, like a scrapbook that was all her recipes, and she had tons. And she always made this oatmeal, which sounds like, oatmeal can't be that hard, but it was special oatmeal. And if my dad hears this, my dad's gonna be like, "You guys don't understand. It was so special. It has taken me my entire adult life to get it right, and I finally got it right, and then realized it was basically a dessert because it had evaporated milk, condensed milk, sugar,
right?
cinnamon." And I was like, "Oh no, I can't have it."
It's like that's
so now I have my version.
That's not a healthy breakfast meal.
I lived for it. And my friends, we'd go stay at my Gammy's house for like and spend the night together on a school night, and she'd give us breakfast in the morning. And I swear I had friends that just wanted to come over because they knew they were going to get that really good meal with homemade biscuits in the morning and that oatmeal. It was so good.
Okay, so talking about that made me remember one more thing about her. She actually was part of the auxiliary fire department in their area, because it's all volunteer fire. They live in the middle of nowhere, so it's all volunteer firefighters. And she was a volunteer firefighter, and specifically a first responder.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so she was part of that whole thing too. And then, and where this comes from is she also, I was still really into her pies, but most people in the county would tell you that she made cinnamon rolls to die for.
Oh, what?
And whenever the auxiliary did a fundraiser, the first thing people would ask is if Hazel's cinnamon rolls were going to be there. And I kid you not, people would literally line up to buy them, and they were the first things to sell out every single time. So
wow, that's crazy. Wait, so there must have been a lot of people at her funeral then. Like, she was probably pretty big in her community.
It was over. Yeah, there was over 200 people there. So
oh yeah, see, that's a wonderful celebration of life. Like, that's special.
Yeah, it was quite the thing. It was pretty amazing. I love that. So yeah. So anyway, that Hazel Charlotte Jones was my grandmother's name. So
that's a beautiful name. Wait, what was her maiden name?
You
don't have to say.
Lankford is her maiden.
What is it?
Lankford.
Lankford.
Yeah.
No. What's the origin?
Side of my family. I don't really know.
Wow, we'll have to go down that rabbit
hole. Most of her family was from Oklahoma. They were transplants from Oklahoma to California. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then my granddad drug them up to the part of Washington where I grew up, which is in the middle of nowhere. So.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, that's right. I've heard about that.
There's only 10,000 people in the whole county, so it's pretty small county.
I
mean, it's a big county in land size, but in population, Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some crafting stuff in honor of the amazing bazooka builder herself.
Yes, let's do that.
Little
Let's
did I
talk
know
about it.
that she would ignite a fire in me for creating props. So there you go.
Yeah, I get it. My grandmother definitely has inspired me in a lot of ways. So many things because I didn't start crafting. I didn't know how to craft until this stage in life. But I always watched her. She did the same thing with like creating Barbie stuff, and even on my Jaina, which is not finished, as you guys know, and everybody asks me about it all the time. But it's like upstairs. It's fine.
Yeah, what's going on with that Jaina, by the way? What's happening there?
I don't know. It's like pretty close to finish. It's really close to finish. It's a shame that I haven't finished it actually, but I don't know. Honestly, every single time a job comes up, and
it takes the back burner, right?
It does, yeah. And it's been like once so many things get pushed in front of a project, it's really hard to go flip back in your mental Rolodex to get back to that project. It can be tricky.
Yeah, I struggle with that. It's like it's like, especially the whole, I'll finish it later, or I'll fix it better for the next time. And anytime I've ever said that, I've never gone back.
And there are people that we follow in our community, and probably some of you listening, and I'll come across your Instagram and it's like redoing this for this con. And I'm like, dang, y'all. Like,
I know you actually are able to do that. I know.
It's so funny. Can I tell you something that's really interesting that's occurred to me recently is, we do a podcast, Crafting Geek, hi guys, here we are. And I don't go to as many cons as I used to, but everybody that I follow on my social media who is not doing it as on a professional level, which are a lot of our community, like probably well over half of our community is not doing it on a professional level at all. They're just doing it as a hobby. And I'm like, dang, they're going to a con every weekend, like all summer. And I just think, how are they doing that? I don't understand.
Yeah. Oh, I know, right? Yeah, I don't know.
Like, because they're doing it for that pure passion. Once you become your creative artistry becomes on the job side, your perspective shifts a little bit, and you have to pick and choose what are your fun cons. But
That's
those
true.
people, they're all their fun cons. And
That's true.
I love watching it, and I'm like, dang, I kind of love that. Maybe I should just do it for fun. And then I'm like, oh, wait. That's how I got here. Because I realized I'm not cut out for that. Like,
wait a minute. That's now my job. Oh no. What happened?
I love watching that beautiful passion and like seeing like the community. I love observing everybody else's friend circles. Like, I know that sounds weird, but I don't get FOMO. I'm like a unusual human that loves seeing like Jedi Amanda and Alex, like Alexandra Lee Studios. I love seeing those two girls doing stuff.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah, me too.
Those girls.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Can you believe what the stuff they just did for Celebration was pretty amazing?
Yes. I loved it so much. And then Alex like being in character in it, I was just like, oh, this is so cute.
And they did you see they got a shout out from Adam Savage either yesterday or today too?
No, but rightfully so.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Congrats, girls.
I know.
Ooh,
that was pretty awesome.
The father himself. That is really cool. I love that. It just makes me really happy when people do things like that and they get noticed on a large scale, because there's something. I don't care how you guys. I don't need validation. Whatever, dude. It still feels great.
It absolutely feels awesome.
And like, I know how they felt in that moment. I can put my head in it and think, and it's like, like. They probably went and told as many of their friends as they could, and their parents, and you want that joy for everyone, because that feeling feels so good. It's a good feeling.
It really does. It feels good to be acknowledged.
Yeah, by people you look up,
and there's nothing wrong with it either. With like
nothing wrong with wanting that. That's fine, guys.
No, and there's nothing wrong with accepting it, and there's nothing wrong with telling people that, hey, I got acknowledged for this thing.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes people are too
There's
worried
a stigma
about
around it. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
There's like and just to hit on that, like, what is this wave of false humility? I know that you are very proud of what you made and you want to tell me about it. Don't have to be humble. I also think what you did is cool. Like, I'm not great at taking a compliment on my work. I'm the most annoying person, but I'm very aware of it. Like, when they're like, oh, I love this. This is amazing. I'm like, oh, well, it could have been better. My gosh. Yeah. I can hear myself now. Yeah. And what I want to
don't ever say that.
I love it too. And it's okay. It's okay to say that.
It is. It is. And the other thing, okay, we earlier tonight we did a live stream, and one of the things was pet peeves, and I just thought of another question
or
was about pet
bugbears.
peeves or bugbears. Yes. So that just made me think of one of my bugbears is I really dislike when somebody works on something and they're showing it off or whatever. And then the first thing you do is point out all the flaws.
Yeah, dude. And I do that too.
It's like,
I've gotten better, but
why do we do that?
Why? I don't know. It's like this weird thing of like perfection. We don't want the illusion of perfection to exist just in case we don't have confidence in our own abilities. So we worry that if we make something that isn't great and somebody, like after somebody has put us on that pedestal and elevated us to perfection, we've accepted that we have done something that is at that skill level, then our next follow-up project will have to be as good. We're worried that if we admit that we've done something beautiful, we set a standard for perfection within our own selves. You know?
I could see that being, to a degree. I feel that sometimes, if I've really nailed a project and everybody's like, wow, this is, and it's not just false blowing smoke. You can tell they really think that, you nailed it.
Your Wonder Woman sword is a great example.
Well, thank you.
That's great. The whole community agrees. You know what I mean? Like,
and I agree. It turned out great. But I guess there is in some ways, you think about making your next thing. It's like, what if it doesn't meet that standard of the last thing I made? What if people are like, oh, one hit wonder or something? I guess. But
oh my gosh, yes, that's fear.
yeah. I mean, I have to be honest. If I think about it, there's that. So
even though very seldomly, I don't know how a lot of you guys talk to each other in your communities. I can guess, I can infer, I can make observations, but I do know from time to time there are people that will say like, oh, I saw this and, it looks like, I don't know why they haven't gotten better with foam, or I don't know why it doesn't look like they're progressing. Yeah. But that doesn't happen that much. Like, I know we're all thinking that somebody's like ripping apart our imperfections or ripping apart, oh, look, they haven't gotten better at filling seams, still same crappy foam smithing. That's not really how most people are talking about your work. Most people are impressed and happy.
I personally, I don't really hear that kind of stuff from people. I mean, and really if I do, I tell, and I'm trying to think if I've ever been in a situation where somebody's been, negative about that, and I've just had to tell them to keep their opinion to themselves. Because that's what I would probably do if somebody was, was really disparaging somebody else in the community. To me personally,
I always say, well, have you tried to do it yourself? Can I see your work?
Yeah, that's
I'm the worst. I'm mean.
No, that's a great comeback, because it's that whole thing of like it's hard to critique something. It's easy to critique something, but how have you contributed to this?
Exactly. So that's my thing with that's how those things are a little tricky to navigate, but I just feel like people are not as critical as you think they are in this community. It's actually really pretty great.
I think so, but but maybe not. Maybe we just live on. Maybe we just live on a different existence than everybody else.
What is the TikTok cosplay community doing? Because can we have a talk, y'all? We are. I bet if we had. So it's so hard to get demographics on our podcast, but I can guess based on my social demographics and his social demographics from what I see, because they cross over. I think most people are like 25 and 22 and over.
Yeah.
That watch our podcast and both follow us. If you're younger, thank you. I'd love to know how we got you to listen, because new generations are an anomaly. But I watch TikTok. I was just telling the Ag Sisters all about it and linking them a ton of people from cosplay, because Instagram, the hashtag for cosplay is 25 million strong and growing. And I use these statistics a lot when I'm pitching things to companies. TikTok is 9.9 billion strong.
What?
Billion.
How is that even possible?
It's more possible than you realize because of the freaking crazy amount of people just swiping through, so they're absorbing content.
That's insane.
9.9 billion to 25 million is insane. And the view numbers that these young cosplayers get on there for their little quick Vine style videos where they just do a dance, they do funny, cute stuff.
Oh, my daughter's all over it. She does stuff all the time.
That's what I was getting to. Yeah. I did not know that your sweet little girl had a TikTok thing, and then Courtney from Egg Sisters was like, oh, Jackie, have you seen Eric's daughter? She does some funny stuff. And I'm like, what? How did I not? I look at TikTok every day. How have I not seen this? So I'm going down a rabbit hole, and I cannot wait to
I just decided that's something for the kids.
Well, it is. It is.
For me personally, it's like I don't think I could go down that rabbit hole. So
yeah. Well,
but I'm glad
because I like to offer like one thing. I like to make sure I'm observing all the cosplay community like branches, even if I won't ever break into it. Like I just don't see TikTok. I don't see myself ever doing well on TikTok, so I don't feel the need to break into it. But dude, watching those people, I get it. I get why cosplay is also rising in ways that we don't even realize. What's interesting is like there needs to be great respect and great love sent to that Gen Z kind of demographic that's on TikTok. Gosh,
TikTok.
TikTok. Sorry, guys. TikTok, because we started the fire of cosplay mainstream, and they are pouring gasoline on it by the hundreds of gallons.
That's crazy. I guess I didn't realize there was that much cosplay stuff on TikTok. So
I did. Yeah, and guys and girls, it is so not discriminatory. I linked Courtney, a guy that did this amazing like quick change to a song with the beat, and he changed to like normal clothes, a casual cosplay, like a bounding cosplay, and then a final set of armor. He was a big white dude, no gotcha kind of flare and glare about him. He was just a fun looking dude doing a fun thing, and it went viral. That's amazing.
So while talking about it just made me curious because I was looking up our Instagram percentages, and so on Instagram our audience for 18 to 24 is 14%. So
hey, what's up, dude?
But our largest percentage is 25 to 34, which is 52%. So more than half of our Instagram part of it, since we can't pull numbers any other way, is. And the other interesting thing I find is that since we are a male and female duo here, we have the gender is 51% women and 49% male. So we're almost exactly half and half.
Dude, that is some take it to the bank numbers.
Right?
Can I just say that is amazing. You guys are freaking awesome because that validates us in such an interesting way. Because businesses love when there's a split demographic. That's like a rare thing.
It's amazing to me that it's only 1% difference of the split. So.
Wow. I would love to know how many couples, and I know we have a few families that watch together. I know we have a few couples that watch. I'd love to know if you are. Leave it in the comments because I always joke about this, and I was even telling some friends when I was in California. I was like, I feel like I'm everybody's wife's buddy. I don't know how to explain it, but I usually connect well with wives. I love a lady in my age range or older. I get along well. I get along with people across the board, but I love in our community, the wives, I always just get along so well with. After our Harrison episode, Emily reached out to me and sent me the nicest message.
That's awesome. That's cool. From our last episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that made me feel so good because she's a very well-established woman. And to have her listening to our podcast, it just expands the demographic even more, And
that's really cool. Do you know, so I'm curious because for my personal or my Coregeek Instagram, I'm like 70% male followers and like 30% female. I'm just curious. Have you looked at yours? I'm curious what yours are. If yours are like the opposite, or if you're more split down the middle.
Me see. I feel like I'm more female, but
I mean that would be my guess. But there are a lot more guys, in the past couple of years too. It seems like.
Wait, how do I'm 42% women, 58% men. Oh no.
Really? Why is that? Oh no.
No. Not oh no. Not oh no. Like, oh, I love my dude. That's not what I mean. But like, am I not ladies that are listening? Is there something I'm missing? Like, am I not tapping into my gals as much as I thought I was? Here I am. Like, I love the wives. The wives are so great. They're like, we don't like you, Jackie. I'm just.
But that's also just Instagram followers, so it doesn't necessarily.
Well, I will say also gaming community is pretty much dominated by males.
Guys,
that could shift it a little bit. Like I could be a little less there, but
I'm actually not surprised though that you have more male followers for some reason. So,
but my best friend in high school was a guy.
Yeah. Well, also I just think that because you do a lot of armor and more prop kind of stuff, which I'm not saying, one specifically male or female, but it just seems like guys tend to do armor and props more
Yeah. We'll have to ask.
Women seem to work. I mean, we know some amazing women armorers, so I'm not discounting that
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Oh, it's not a dig. It's just an
yeah,
observation.
but women seem to do more fabric based stuff, you know. So, but we
and a lot of
obviously,
that is because like they've had experience with it, or they have a really good eye for detail, and they want to work with a medium that they feel like they can add the most amount of embellishments to that are like collected at a like, it's just a different kind of hobby altogether. It feels different. Like I'm sewing right now and I'm like, oh, I love this. I love like there's something rewarding about a crisp seam, and I don't know, it's different. I get it.
I don't know if I've ever made a crisp seam.
Oh, ironing is addictive. My great aunt Sarah, I will tell you this. I miss my aunt Sarah every day. She's an angel, literally right now. She has to be. They named our visitor center in our town for her. She is the bomb. Standing room only at her funeral. Just a knockout, phenomenal woman. Would have loved Hazel, I'm sure. So, when she was dying, she had me bring her my Frostmourne sword and then some other armor pieces, just because she wanted to have it by the bed so she could talk about it with me to the people that were coming over and let people know like what I did, because most people in my family didn't really know. And there was very like, I have a high society family on one side, and they were very much like, I don't know what this is. And so that was like such an interesting moment. But I don't even, my whole point in telling you was right before she died, she had never spent the money on a really fancy iron. So she bought herself like $100 iron.
Wow.
That was like one of her, like, she needed before she died. She's like, I've wanted one my whole life. She bought the fanciest iron.
So now they have a question. I didn't realize there were like fancy irons. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but
I've never bought one. I only have like hand-me-down ones.
What is it? So I'm curious now, because what does a fancy iron offer? Like
so apparently like special, really good, even heat and nonstick surfaces that are like newer technology.
Okay. That makes sense.
Even steaming, better steaming. There's all these different things, like special irons that have like really good settings for silks and appliques. And
are there ones that have like different like shapes of the iron itself too? Is there anything like that out there? Where
I have a small one.
Like that would work better for certain types of seams or something. I'm just curious.
There has to be though, because that would be useful for like the vinyl application of stuff on foam. That's why I got the little one.
I've never really considered iron technology before, but it is anytime I've ever done something that it's a sewing project, it's like it's an indispensable tool when you're working with material. I mean.
And something that I didn't think I would ever, I've never bought a steamer for myself, and I've used the steamer on set every time I've ever been on set. And now I've started to realize like, a good steamer is valuable, because there's nothing worse than a low quality steamer, because it sputs sometimes.
Oh yeah. And then it can mess things up. Yeah.
It gets things wet unnecessarily. And it'll only hold small bank. You don't want a small one if you're doing a cape.
Yeah,
because then you're like, I just did a cape and I had to refill it and let it heat back up, and it was a little frustrating, I gotta say.
Oh, because every time you refill it, it's got to go back up to the temp to steam. It had to
heat back up, and it only worked in spurts. I like one with also don't get a steamer that just free flows. Maybe that's a thing that doesn't exist. I don't know, but a steamer that has a trigger, so the steam goes in a bank.
Yeah.
But then it would have to be big, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they have I've seen like those detachable ones, right? Where you have like have you seen those where there's like a module and then it has like a hose and then you have the wand thing? More like, maybe that's more of a commercial application or something.
That's what I just used. I just used Shark made one, and it was like a commercial one, and it was okay. It just wasn't what I wanted. So.
Interesting. So can you talk at all about the on-set experience you just had? Was it just last week or 2 weeks ago? It was just within the last couple of weeks, right?
Within the last couple of weeks, yeah. I got a quick turnaround job after I got back from the con in Texas. I literally got a job offer while I was in Texas, so I said yes to it because, I'm a maniac while I'm at another job.
Well, what I always tell people is you don't know the word no.
Yeah. I'm trying to learn, though, because... one thing that is a weakness in my personality, yes, I have a strong business sense, and I consider my superpower being observation of cultural and social, like, community things. I don't know what it is, but I'm like, this is coming up, just wait, and then bam, something happens. And I call it like my weird little superpower, and it's definitely been useful to me in life, but also people can take advantage of you really quickly and use you as an idea person for free a lot.
A lot.
And so be careful about that, because what I didn't realize, what I had been doing for a while now is, and this isn't at, I don't want you to think this is about Maker Faire, because Maker Faire is what I'm working on right now, but this is
Yeah.
just past stuff. So over the last year, I have been doing what I am now being told is consulting. And
Yeah.
a consultant,
I was just going to
yeah.
say, you basically, in many ways, work in a consultant capacity, just not billing anybody for it.
Yeah, and Maker
Yeah.
Fair's been great to me in this.
Yeah.
I'm publicly recognized as part of the board. I am giving them tons of ideas, and they are running with them, and they love them. But then in my past, there have been other people. It wasn't until I got to this point and had a title when I was like, oh, why did they give me a title? And it was like, oh, they want to acknowledge that they're using me. They're being a good company.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And man, it like makes my heart so sad to know of all the things that I've given away for not for free. That, I guess that sounds terrible. Give it away for free. Oh, you should want money for everything. No, giving it away in a way that someone took advantage and left you behind
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
They ran with it. And like that is when consulting, that's like the difference of just when you're an idea person and you all of a sudden realize tons of people are reaching out to you for ideas and they're listening to you. I didn't realize I had that skill until people started doing that. And then I was like, oh, I've just always given advice in my life. I like not personal advice, business advice, because I see things. I don't know why. It's a weird spidey sense, I guess, but people will take advantage of you if you're not careful, guys.
Well, but I also think there's that aspect too, though, of, and we both operate that way where it's, the giving back to the community part of it.
Yeah.
And I do think that even though it may seem like, you're being left behind or whatever, that putting things out there and empowering other people also, whether you're credited for it or not, it also makes a difference. And I think that, I mean, some people want to call it karma or whatever, like if you put something out there, well, it's going to come back. I just think that the more you put out there for people, the more it reflects on you as a person. And so even though, there are some missed opportunities and stuff business wise or whatever, but I still think that it all helps in the end,
I fully agree. So, yeah. I couldn't agree more with you, Eric. And that's why we're such good buds, because there's many times we've probably not been like credited as much as we should or something, or I had an idea that somebody just, ran with. And it's never set me back. It never stopped me.
No, me
I'm not
either.
going to hold the secrets because one person ran with it. I'll never change the person that I am despite what happens.
Yeah, the same for me. And the other thing too is when I see people that I've maybe advised or whatever, and not even, I mean, like very informally, nothing, and you see them succeeding. I always feel a bit of pride in that too.
Me too, dude.
And I love seeing the people that come to me succeed, Yeah. So
why would you nobody should wish anyone else to fail. It doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah.
If they like ran over your dog when you were a kid, that's fine. They can fail. But intentionally, don't do it if it's an accident.
Yeah.
Let Granny, slide a little bit, but she can't see clearly. So what's important is that there's just nobody that deserves that. And you have to keep that, jealousy can be a really nasty demon that we all fight no matter how perky and happy you are. And you have to just grit your teeth, give the advice, put it out there, be the best you. It's always, people say, oh, it's not about you. Be understanding and be this and be thoughtful. Fundamentally, it is about you, because it's actually you that makes all those decisions to be not about you.
Yeah, so that's true.
You are in control of you. Yeah. So it's a weird thing where like, oh, it's not self. No, don't think about yourself. Definitely think about yourself. Really understand you and why you're feeling the way you are, and don't project that onto someone else. Take a step back, remove it, and then give the best advice you can, and will others to do well, because it will come back.
Yeah.
It does.
And that's a very good thing to keep in mind too. It's like, even in times of my life, and I'm not even necessarily with, with the maker side of my life or whatever, just even things in the past, if there's been things where, I've maybe felt a little left out or, a little maybe jealous or whatever, because we're all prone to that at some point.
Yeah.
Usually when I really stop to think about it, I realize that it's always about my my thing, not that other person's thing,
Yeah.
and and sometimes you just got to get over yourself, you know?
Yes, exactly. Sometimes you just got to get over yourself. It's so true. Many times in the beginning when I would see other people get jobs with companies I wanted to, I was like, oh, it's a pang. You listening know that feeling when you read it, and it's like, I don't know how to describe the physical feeling, but it's a physical one. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, but it's okay. They're doing that. That all that means is that's a door unlocked. That's an achievement unlocked in our community. Look how long it took Dremel to come in, and Dremel is in, y'all. And Dremel is supporting and promoting and sending products. And we're going to see a lot from them embracing the cosplay community. Places come around, companies come around. Everybody has their moment. So it's just, just know you're not alone in the way you feel. We all feel that way. And maybe that alone will help you be able to deal with it more. Just know Jackie feels it too. Eric feels it too. And then you have that moment of it's okay,
Yeah, that's true. So. That's very true.
But, so about the Hearthstone job, I will tell you.
So you can say what it was at least.
Well, yeah, actually, because it was. I was hired by it and I already said before that. I said in the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, it's Hearthstone, but I can't say what it is. Nothing about what it's from. Nothing about if it's anything from the game at all, or if it's something completely separate. It's just Blizzard. Blizzard hires. It's not. They're pretty much the only people that hire me repetitively, but only because I guess nobody else has hired me as much as they have. So that's just how it happened.
But this time's a little different though, you were telling me, because they basically, because in the past you've kind of worked for somebody that was working for them. And then this time it was more.
Well, my last job was my first one.
Directly with you, right?
Yeah. And I have to say there's something, I printed the call sheets and everything and have them in a scrapbook, because there's something so magical about seeing your name as costume designer and not costume assistant.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
I brought Brittany, Genoza Costuming, on again as an assistant, and she came to set with me. And I didn't have as much work to hire her for, but she did still come on set. I hired her for one key piece that you'll see, and then she helped me out the day before and the day of. And that's not because she wasn't qualified to do more. That's because I only had a few days of crafting, and I had to turn around really quickly, something I'd never done before. I just said yes to something I'd never done before.
I think was it about 2 days into it when you texted me and said, I think I maybe made a mistake?
Well, I just was I was in over my head in
I know,
a way
I could tell you were swimming a little bit, but right. I knew though, and I don't know if I told you, because I didn't want you to think I was just placating you, but I knew you were going to be able to pull it off.
Well, thank you, friend.
I totally
That means
did.
a lot. Your confidence in me is very inspiring. I appreciate it. I'll remember that next time.
Because I was like, she's gonna pull this off. I know she will. But I don't think I expressed that to you, because I didn't know if you were in that mind where it's just oh, you're just saying that to me to make me feel better.
Yeah, I probably was. So you made the better friend decision by holding off until now, because now it means more. See, genius.
Yeah. But when you explained to me a little bit of what you're doing, I was thinking, that's going to be hard to pull off, and in that time frame, and without glitches and all the things that go with it. I was thinking, yeah, she's in deep, but I think she can pull it off.
Thank you. I will say that the biggest thing that held me back was that there was a part of it that just could not be finished until the end because of the nature of only having 5 days to craft, really. And I was like, I think that this isn't going to work. Not because I didn't think I could do it. I didn't have the materials that got here in time for one key part. And I was finally, we chatted and I changed stuff the night before, and they loved it and it worked out. But I had made multiple changes the night before. And when you see this, I'm so proud because I made that. I made that really 90% of it by myself, of the main piece. Brittany did definitely do some amazing, work with me, but I was so scared. It was the first time I'd done an industry job by myself until except for that one thing. And that was very weird feeling, because it's there is no one else but you, girl. You better get to work.
There's no safety net either.
Don't you take a second to do your makeup or get on a video game. Like this was,
Yeah.
it was from the moment that she got it, I clocked in, or that she gave me the job, I clocked in, and I was like, I have never done this. This seems crazy. I did it without fitting. That's what is going to blow your mind, y'all.
Yeah,
They didn't even have measurements for me.
That still blows me away. So how was the experience on set? Did most everything go okay? Did you have many problems you had to overcome when you guys were filming, or was it just pretty smooth? It just all worked?
It was pretty smooth. I will say, this is my third time being on set with them, and every time it's been better. First time was a nightmare because, again, I was under someone. The second time worked well, but there was a few fitting issues because some things were out of stock that I needed, like the T-shirt for Peter. It was too large, and that's because the lady that did the Pantone matching color printing did not have a small or a medium. She had a large only, and the guy's not a large, and so the cowl was a little too tight or a little too loose, and a few other things like nothing major, but just the T-shirt. Honestly, I had to stay off set and then go back on and fix it a lot, which was really weird because I'm just like, sorry, you know.
Was that just like rearranging it every time, right?
They'd be like, Jackie, and the director would summon me, and then I just run on set, adjust it, and like, there you go. And a couple times I made jokes.
You didn't just bring some clothespins to just like tighten it up in the back, or?
I forgot the most important thing, and now I would you should see the amount of stuff I bring. It's insane. It's too much in this workshop or work kit I have. But this time, almost no adjustments, and it's because I went a little zealous. Like I thought more as a cosplayer and less as a person making something for a set, which Evil Ted can appreciate. Like we've talked with him about, quality suffers when you make stuff for set.
Yeah.
And I tried. He had to do a lot of movement. And I definitely think I brought my A game with it. And I really can't. Cool. I'm so happy for everybody to see it because it's my best work for this company yet.
That's cool. Do you know when that's going to be showing up?
I don't even think I can give a window. They were very weird about that because they have things they're announcing like whenever. So
sometime in the future.
Yeah, sometime in the future. Can I tell you the craziest part is it's not me being facetious when I say I don't know what it's for. I don't know. I forgot. Usually, I have a lot of time in advance for these jobs. Yeah. So they send me a deck and all the information. Like for Rasticon's Rumble, the last one I did, they sent me a beautiful whole deck that was internally for what they were doing because it had themes that I needed to really get behind for the troll and stuff. Because spoilers, or I don't know if I said this before, I don't think I did. Blizzard let me create those designs. So on the last job, they did not send me an image. They didn't have one. Yeah. They said, hey, Jackie, could you design a female troll for us? Could you design a male mage for us that fits these parameters and cannot be an identifiable character? Because they didn't want the focus on that. They didn't want
they just wanted generic. They just wanted generic.
They wanted
Blizzard
from the world
Blizzard looking troll. So yeah.
So they let me have full design control, which I had to submit sketches, digitize the sketch, send the sketch in, and I felt like, wow, they're letting me Blizzard. Yeah. If Zach Fisher listens to this, he's gonna be like, oh, he gets it, because Blizzard doesn't let you create their IP.
No,
they don't do that.
No,
and they're so, for all the things that Blizzard has going on right now, there are amazing people that work at that company that should not be put don't view Blizzard as a whole as this negative monster that lays off people, because there are beautifully wonderful humans that work there that treat you really well and treat others really well and are just awesome. They're just awesome. And Ben Thompson, who works on Hearthstone, is one of the coolest people I've ever met and wonderful human. So, but
that sounds awesome.
I want to say that one thing that I thought of when I was working on the costume, and I said out loud because I always have the day, a couple days where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the worst. And if you are looking to get into the industry, be prepared to suffer. Be prepared to sacrifice quality.
Yeah.
Over speed, and it's the honest to God truth. And there are so many people out there like, Jackie, these people want quality replicas. That's why they go to Harrison. That's why they go to this person and that person, or Solar Robotic. That's not everyone who's hiring you wants that. If you're somebody's hiring you for a commercial and they want you to Samsung wants to hire you for commercial and make you need to make 6 foam cell phones. They don't give a crap if they look like an actual cell phone.
Yeah,
You don't have to be hard plastic. You need to think in the realm of how fast can I do this on this budget and make it look funny and cool and cleanish.
Well,
That's crazy.
I was going to say, you said cleanish, and in my head, the word I was thinking is convincing. Is it convincing?
Convincing, yes.
That's really all it needs to be, right? It doesn't
Yes.
convincing. I mean, that's for a lot of times for production, anything that's going on, I'm going to say film, but we all know that it's not really film anymore. It's got to be convincing. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's
whatever gets you to convincing.
Yeah. It's so true. And what shows up good on camera? I mean, those cameras are extremely high quality. And I was watching the playback of even what I just worked on, and it's like, I didn't have time to seal that foam. Seal that foam? I made something in the hotel room the night before. It didn't get sealed, maybe with toothpaste, like it was not getting sealed. And so that's like, but it doesn't matter. It looked great on camera. And with a good paint job, unsealed foam is not something I would compete with. You know?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You would never think about that. But it's not that level. It's not a competition quality. And that's the best way to describe it. It is not competition quality. It is very much it's almost like what the level of like have a good time, throw it together cosplayers do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting, actually.
That's true.
I never thought of it that way.
True.
But those speedy costume experts that we're seeing crank out stuff for cons every month or every week of the month, those people are actually highly qualified for this job.
Yeah, they are, definitely. Yeah, without a doubt. Well, one of the fastest like foam makers I know is Gary Beer Money Props,
Well,
and
that's why he's in this industry.
And there's a reason why he's working production at Thingergy and Thingergy and making costumes for shows like the Orville and stuff, because the guy can bust the stuff out at a good quality. So, and
they just worked on that Netflix show too. Gosh, I can't think of the name of it.
Oh, the Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella Academy,
yeah. They did the physical version of I think it's a chimp. I haven't seen the show, but there's like,
and you can do speed and pretty clean work too, though. That is a special talent. Like Gary is speedy and does pretty clean work, and I feel pretty confident that I'm speedy and can do pretty clean work. But my best work is always slower. So. Yeah.
Same here. That's why
it is.
That's why I consider myself a boutique builder,
That's cute. That's a good way to put it. And there's things that come along with speed that suck too. Like Brittany got me with a hot glue gun here on the back of my hand, and that was just because we shared a hot glue gun in a moment that I should have brought two. And accidents happen, dude. I have one on my thigh too because I dropped the hot glue gun on my thigh.
Yeah. No, thank you.
It's danger sometimes.
It can be. It can be. Well, that's cool. I'm glad that it all worked out, because
it did work out.
I did get a couple of texts from you that were.
It was scary. And it's mainly because of the electronics part.
I remember the one specifically was like, "Does this look stupid?" Do you remember sending me that?
Yeah, I do. And I even took a photo of myself in it because I was like, I don't know what's going on here. And then the photo did not make me feel better because I am not the same size as this person. I took a photo, or Liz took a photo because I had to work on it at Liz's house.
Yeah.
And oh gosh, man, I just looked so crazy. I was like, I don't know, this is gonna look on the day of, but somehow that. It comes together.
As I say, and for the record, when I told you it didn't look stupid, I wasn't just placating you. I didn't think it. I
trust you. If you had led me astray and then it looked crazy, I would have been upset. Like I like criticism from the people I value.
Yeah,
that's important.
Well, I'm glad that it all came and happened and worked out, and you were able to hang up another finished product for them.
Yeah. You know what's really funny? Something you mentioned earlier. What did you mention earlier that stuck with me? But I don't know. But anyways, I think that there's someone in our community that's writing a book about, and I don't know if it's only been shared on their private account, so I don't want to like spoiler it, but if you share it on your private account and you have 1,500 friends, how secret is it?
Well, a builder that's doing a book?
A female.
Are you talking about Zombie?
No.
Oh, she's doing a book.
Okay.
Or do you mean like writing a book or
a book, like a memoir?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know about that one.
So someone is, and
maybe I missed that one.
Right. Okay. Well, someone's working on it, and because they asked some people for like some input on something.
Oh,
And oddly enough, I have written what is probably a memoir throughout my whole 4 years. Every time that something happens to me, I write it down. And
really?
I got to thinking like, oh my gosh. Like I was reading back through some of my stuff because I worked on a pitch for something else, and I just went down a rabbit hole of looking for information.
Yeah.
And I realized that I write a lot down. It's like a diary, I suppose, but it's like a lot of experiences I've had with people, good and bad. Every time somebody's done something great for me, every time someone's tip has helped me out, even if I haven't spoken to that person, I wrote about it. So I find all these like
That's
interesting
cool.
things. It is. Yeah, it's cool because I was like, wow.
I'm too
these
lazy
people
to do
never
something like
know.
that. Way too lazy.
Well, I'm usually too lazy to make it a book. And so it's just scribblings of a mad woman, really, to be honest.
I don't even have scribblings though. I have like vague recollections. Didn't we do something once?
Well, okay. So I do get in that mind state where when I'm crafting, it's a blur. So that's another motivation for writing it down, because then I'm like,
that's true.
Yeah, and it helps you remember how to budget for a next job or something when you're like, oh yeah, that was fun. I loved working for that company, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, I got to make sure it's worth it because I almost died last time. You know. But
do you do you ever take note? Do you take notes when you're building things too now? So, like in case you have to remember it again. So that is like for me, like something that comes to mind is I don't at all. And the thing is, it's like the first round I did with the Wonder Woman sword a couple years ago, I made so many of those. It's like, I'll never forget how to, like my mix ratios and, how long I keep them in the one side before I close the mold and this process. Right. And I'm like, I'll never forget it.
Information though.
I know. And I was like, I'll never forget it.
And that's why you're very qualified to help our friend Kim Patsu. Taylor reached out to you for advice on casting, and your memory of doing things like that and having done it so many times is why you're such a great resource for casting.
Well, thank you. Yeah. And her stuff turned out great. But the thing is
all over that. So I was like, that looks like Eric. I knew. I was like, Eric sent her photos, because I already knew you'd been helping her. But like, it was so beautiful to see my friend's influence on helping someone else who's already really established. And she's so cool that she reaches out to people and talks about stuff like that. Like, it's a beautiful,
Yeah. Well, the thing is what I was getting at is like the first time I had to, so I did like a whole bunch of them, and then I took a break from them, and I went back to it and I forgot everything. And it's like, I had to, no, you know what I did was I live streamed once. I had to go back and watch my live stream.
Oh my gosh.
Because there's a live stream.
Brilliant though.
There's a live stream of it I recorded that's still on my Twitch channel. And I was like, I can watch it on my Twitch channel. So I went back and watched it.
And those of you listening, that's probably a good resource. Yeah. You should just auto upload it to your YouTube so it stays.
I probably should.
You should. A lot of people do that.
Anyway, so you're talking about writing things down. It was like, and Harrison is always talking about how he'll take notes and stuff. And Bill, I think Bill's pretty good about taking notes and things, but I'm just like, I always think I'm going to, and then I don't. And then I'm back at square one every time. And I need some organization probably. So, but
I need it with that too, because I will write. I have so much stuff written down on my notes, on my phone, and on my computer, just so much. But none of it is like crafting stuff, except for patterns. Wait, so that is the exception, I guess.
Yeah.
But I could use it more often for resin mixing. I don't know why I don't write that stuff down, y'all.
Do you have any, I haven't talked to you about patterns in a while. Do you have any new pattern stuff you're working on, or is that kind of all?
I have like 11 patterns done, almost done and ready to go. But, and people are messaging, look, those of you that are messaging me, I know, I'm so sorry. Like it has been really hard. I'm helping 2 events, like kind of get things in order for cosplay, but I'm on the consultant kind of side. And it's absorbed a lot more time than I thought, as well as other things that are going on in my life. So it's like, it's been so hard to sit down and actually work on them. I worked on them on the flight home. Like that's how, I'm always flight out there and flight home from this last job, just because I wanted to finish the Lich King patterns. And I have people messaging me, and they're beautiful patterns. They're so well done. I'm so proud of this set because it's going to help a lot of guys bring things like that together.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I love the male chest piece I made. I can't get enough of it. I really enjoy it. And I made it big enough that I can just like slide it on and off anytime I want, which is just so fun. I made it in a men's 2XL, which is a rare thing. Yeah. You don't see example patterns in that size. And I made a 2XL because I went all out and thought, I'm going to show people how beautiful it is in a big boy size too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
So, I need to release that, and then I have a full Ganon set, which if you guys follow Full Elven Cosplay on socials, she's very active in our community, pretty much like knows everybody, taps. She's a moderator in multiple people's streams and stuff. She's wonderful. And
Wait,
She commissioned me
who's
for
this?
that. Full Elven. It's full dot Elven, I think.
I don't. I mean, I'm feeling like I don't follow her, but maybe I do.
Yeah, it's
So.
full Elven dot cosplay. I don't know if you do or not, but if you go follow her, guys, you're going to get to see a lot of my patterns, actually almost all of them brought to life. So if you're like, Jackie, you don't show me any pictures of your patterns, this girl does.
I follow her now. She follows me, so I'm following back. That's so rude of me. So rude.
Oh, well, now you know. You fixed it. She's fine. She'll be fine with it. But that
Oh,
Ganon,
wow.
I created that pattern set for her for that Ganon based on my Ganon, and it's
nice.
an original design.
Yeah.
I created a female breastplate, and when she brought that breastplate to life, because I didn't know what to expect, because that's a very hard pattern, and she brought it to life, and I was like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted it to look like, because I'd only made half of it. I didn't have to make a whole one because I knew how it was going to work in my head.
Yeah,
and
it looks awesome.
Yeah, I thought she did a stellar job, and she wanted something that was, still feminine and had that nice breast cup, but without having to have large breasts. Like she didn't, she doesn't have monster tatas, as I don't think she put it like that. But
wow, I think we have an episode title. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's really funny. But she has a beautiful body, and she wanted armor that accentuated her beautiful body, and that's what we did together. And to see what I saw for her in that breastplate, which was really hard for me to wrap my head around getting it just beautifully right. When I saw it on her, I was like, yes, that's that moment of, as an artist to another artist, like, we did it, girl,
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting close to wrap up time. Do you have any, anything favorite from the week? Got a weekly favorite?
Oh gosh. Well, Game of Thrones.
That was going to be mine.
Dang it. Oh, gosh.
No, I'm just joking. So I'm just joking.
It's so sad to see it come to an end, though. Like, I don't want it to end.
Yeah. It's been pretty riveting the past couple episodes. I've really, really been enjoying it. So it will suck to have it not have it to look forward to next year or 2 years from now or however long they waited to release this last
2 years.
one.
It's crazy. So. I'm excited to see what that genre has been so much held by that franchise for so long now. I'm really excited to see the networks that are gearing up and ready to replace it, and the ones that will fail and succeed. I mean, within even HBO, but other networks that are going to see that fantasy void, and they're going to try to seize that opportunity. They will.
Apparently, there is some kind of spin-off though that
there is a prequel 10,000 years before, and Naomi Watts passed.
Oh, it's that far ahead.
Right.
Wow, that's a long time.
And if you knew my theory of how Game of Thrones
that's right.
You know why and I'm like, yep, makes sense to me.
Why it fits together.
Why it fits together. Sam at Bio Cosplay, that's his handle. Hit me up, Sam, because I know you want to hear my theory.
And I was thinking that Amazon has their Lord of the Rings based series coming. So maybe that'll.
I'm excited about that.
I don't know if they would have like $1 billion budget if Game of Thrones hasn't been so prolific the past, however many years it's been on. So
it heavily influenced probably the budget and stuff like that.
Oh, I would think so. Well, because prior to some of this stuff, a lot of fantasy stuff
was the low end of everything.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the original Lord of the Rings movies. Yeah. Other than that, those kind of finally brought fantasy out of the dark ages.
Yeah, actually, it's probably Lord of the Rings. Oh, it was good. It was good. It was good. I feel like that's where you got to end. You can't keep going after that.
I know, right? I know. I should just backpedal out of here right now.
Yes. Are you in a rolling chair? You can just roll out.
I am, but it won't roll very well on my floor. So.
It doesn't roll very well either. It's a crafter's problem. We got gunk on.
Yeah, there's too much crap on my floor.
Mine too. There's like fur stuck in it, I think. I'm not cleaning that out. That's on the bottom of my list of stuff to do, y'all.
It's got like drops of resin everywhere.
I cut that section off.
Alrighty. Well, there you go. Our fave of the week was Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah. Comment anything you want to comment. You can talk about bugbears. You can talk about fantasy of the Dark Ages, or you can tell us if you're a married couple watching.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. I'm calling this one.
Okay.
Thanks for
listening. What are you
gonna call it? We still have a final word.
But isn't it bugbears?
Oh yeah,
Because,
it's totally
yeah,
bugbear.
bugbear.
It's totally
Bugbears.
bugbear.
I'm gonna ask a bunch of people. R31 Studios is gonna be like, you've never heard it? What do you mean? New Zealand has 4 million people, my friend. I don't know that sometimes it takes a while to get here.
Thank you to R31 Studios for introducing me to the term bugbear, which
Me too.
and if you want to know what it is, you're just gonna have to look it up.
And if bugbears means something else in your country, please tell R31 Studios.
Yeah, because apparently you can't say fanny pack in
The UK.
UK.
Because it's a Wagana pack there. Well.
Huh. Maybe that's our episode title.
What is wrong with us? Okay, let's.
All right. We'll see you next time on Crafting Geek.